Okay, this short little video is to show you how to use an electronic scale. Electronic scales come in a variety of different shapes and sizes. The ones that we're going to be primarily using in this class come in a little case, and there's a little button right here that you would press to open it up. So as you're looking at the scale, it is quite delicate. There's also rules and instructions up at the top here, so if you forget how to use it, you can read here on how to operate the scale. The spot where you weigh is the silver part right here, and then the readout comes up here. First and foremost, the biggest thing that I always tell students, if their scale isn't working, did you check to see if your scale was on? You do need to make sure that your scale is on before you put anything on the scale. Failure to do this will give you an inaccurate reading. So let's go ahead and turn on the scale by pressing the on button, and you'll see the lights flash, and then you should see 0.0 grams. Okay. If you press the mode button, you'll see it will change to ounces, and then another measurement, and then another measurement, and then back up to grams. We always want to make sure that we're measuring in grams. The capacity, the maximum capacity that the scale can take is 600 grams, and it's calibrated by 0.1 grams. Okay, so to the 10th of a gram. Okay. So once we have our scale on, if you notice that your scale doesn't start off at 0, okay, that is going to be a problem and give you an inaccurate measurement. So it's always helpful just to be on the safe side to press tare, all right? And that will clear out any misunderstandings or mismeasurements. So if we're measuring something like a powder, okay, we never want to put something like that directly onto the scale. And you can see that if I touch it lightly, remember that we're actually measuring force when we're measuring weight. Okay, so even if I put something as light as the weigh paper on the scale, you should be able to tell me that that weighs 0.3 grams. So, but if I'm measuring something like a powder, I don't want the weight of the paper included in that powder. So all I would do is press the tare button, and now I have the weight of just what I'm going to pour on there. So I'm going to pour a little bit of the powder on there. Oops. And it's kind of important also to make sure that what you're measuring would be more towards the center of the scale. And you can see that the mass of that creamer that I just poured on there is 0.8 grams, okay? So you're gonna see that when I take the paper off, the scale goes back to negative 0.2. So you don't want to start off with that. So you want to make sure that you hit tare, and that will recalibrate the scale to 0. Okay. If you're measuring something that's not a powder or something of that nature, you use the weigh paper. I'll usually direct you. So if you're going to measure the mass of the beaker, you make sure that we're started off as 0. You always want to try and put the item towards the center of the scale. And if you take a look at that measurement there, we see that the mass of the beaker is 108.9 grams. As a point of just safety and maintaining our scales properly, when you're done, you want to make sure that you clean up any debris. Never ever put a scale with water. You can usually just gently get a paper towel and wipe anything off. If there's something that you're not sure about, always come see me. And then you always turn off the scale and then close it up.